Yes, 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 yes. You rocking with Music Media Lounge right now. We got the one and only, the lovely tax boss herself, the lovely Miss Impress Tax Service, the one and only Miss Bree Harris, getting you ready for the 2024 tax season 2023. The only way to be Music Media Lounge. Talk to them, Lady Bree. What's going on?
Hey, hey, hey. Just for people who don't know me, my name is Bria Harris. I'm the CEO and owner of Empress Tax Service. I am AKA the tax boss because I really know my stuff. So today we're going to do a lovely podcast to get you guys ready for the upcoming 23-24 tax season. A lot of people don't know year to year, the credits change, the deductions change, the AGI limits change. So it's always good to be knowledgeable. So you know going into whether it's me or your local tax professional or your tax office, or you do it on TurboTax, at least you're ready and prepared for tax season.
Okay, Miss Bree, what does it take to be entitled the tax boss? And is that a self-given title or is that by the people?
Oh my goodness, to be honest with you, I never gave my title, my name, the tax boss. It actually came from people. So my clients and different people who come to me actually start calling me the GOAT. So they say, hey, my lady's a tax boss. She's the GOAT of taxes. So when you just do an excellent job and you're good at what you do and you have an excellent reputation to keep, it kind of upholds itself. So I kind of took the name and engraved it and started AKA using it myself on my business page, personal page when I'm going out to see people. So people know me as Miss Harris, but they also know me as the tax boss, the GOAT of taxes.
Yeah, I heard that. The GOAT.
The GOAT.
GOAT, the GOAT.
The GOAT.
Okay. Explain to the people that's tapped in right now what might be different between the actual CPN and a regular around the way tax preparer, or even like maybe like me myself doing my own taxes on like TurboTax or one of those little softwares.
Of course. So me, I'm a CPA. So I'm a certified public accountant. It's a difference between a certified public accountant and an accountant. An accountant is someone who can prepare your taxes, someone that you could use to, for your accounting needs. But when it comes to bats with the IRS, meaning if you need somebody to represent you, if you get audited, if you need a offer and compromise form, if you need certain what's the word for more complicated situations, then you want to go to your CPA. A tax professional is someone who goes and they can either get an EFIN or a PTIN, and they could practice doing taxes on their own. If you're an EFIN holder, you are an EA like myself, which is an enrolled agent. And of course, you get props for being that. And then you can have your PTIN holder, someone who probably doesn't want the job of a CPA or an EA, doesn't want that type of responsibilities. They want to go ahead and get their PTIN and work under either EA or a CPA to practice due taxes. So the difference between a CPA and going to your tax professional, we're just a little bit more knowledgeable. We also had to go to school for 4 years. So we have that bachelor's. Some people have that master's behind their name in finance and accounting. So just a little difference. If you go to Turbo or TaxAct and you do it yourself, I can guarantee you're not getting the maximum credit, because if you don't have the basic knowledge, like say for instance, if it's just like maybe some people with a basic W-2 will be fine, but then even then, are you getting your maximum deductions? Are you getting the maximum credits that you are eligible to get? Because if you're doing your taxes by yourself, 9 times out of 10, you might not know, oh, this credit is available, that credit is available, this deduction doesn't apply to you. So that's how people get in mix-ups and get audits, and then they have to go find somebody because they did their own taxes, not realizing what they're doing. So it's a difference between each one. Of course, you have your choice to go to someone and who you decide that you want to trust, but ultimately CPA is going to always be just a little bit more better than your tax professional and your TurboTax.
So now we saying like definitely don't do the taxes by yourself. You're not gonna get to the full bag.
No.
Don't trust somebody who's try to do taxes.
Yes,
Because it might actually go through, but you might end up paying for it in the long run. So if you can, it might be more wisdom to work with a certified CPA.
Correct. Of course. Always better to work with a CPA. That's if you can afford. Not everybody can go to a CPA and be willing to pay, because you gotta remember we do business returns, we do personal returns. So not everybody's willing to give up, just like myself with business taxes, I charge anywhere between $6,000 to $2,000. With personal taxes, they start at $150 and can go up to $1,700 depending on what we're doing. And if it's, with your particular return. So some people cannot say, hey, I want to go to a CPA because we're a little bit more pricey. But when it comes to being audited, when it comes to knowing your tax laws, when it comes to knowing the different credits and the deductions and the continuing education classes that we all take, it is more affordable and probably more reliable to go to your CPA. And we also have audit protection that we do as well.
Hold up. Wait a minute. We're not going to just try to speed past that like you didn't just say that. You said personal taxes start at like $150. Business taxes start at like what?
$600.
Okay. So if y'all listening, if y'all tapped in, you might want to transition some things to this business side of things. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Just to maximize this bag. So I'm going to throw a couple situations at you real quick. And you see how we can make some tax sense out of this.
Of course. So
now I'm a person with kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have my own business,
mm-hmm.
which might be the most ideal filing status for me to be able to receive the most back on my return.
Okay. So
going into the new year,
are you said LLC or are you S Corp or are you C Corp?
We're going to go with LLC. That's probably like the most major.
So it's two different ways that you can go. Okay, if you have children and you're self-employed, that's still totally fine. Depending on the amount of money that you make. Sometimes with my LLC people, if you gross on a certain amount of money, there's a way that we can tax you as a C Corp and a Form 1120. So that means that we put your business, what you gross business, not net. Okay, but what you grossed business on your Form 1120, and then what you took away and paid yourself out the business, you can always do a 1040 and attach a Schedule C with your children, and then that will give you your benefit as far as taxes.
Okay, so then I probably should focus on a business tax first. And then a personal tax.
Because we want to know. Because you don't want to sit here and do a Schedule C with your normal tax preparer and they sit here and say, for instance, you made $130,000, right? If you made $100,000, I'm guaranteeing that you're going to at least pay $25,000, $26,000 in taxes by yourself. You don't want to do a Schedule C with so much write-offs because a lot of people don't know the more write-offs you got, the higher audit risk you are. So, and then some people do Schedule Cs and then they do it wrong where they have everything ending in a zero, which is a high audit flag, because a lot of people don't know when you submit it to the IRS as well, they have their system that can catch high audit risk. So when we send them in electronically, a lot of people don't know the IRS does have a system that they use. So sometimes it's better, say for instance, you made $150,000, right? But technically you only paid yourself $50,000 out of $100,000. So why not tax yourself as a C Corp? Go ahead and do your 1120, do your business write-offs that allow you to be able to do it on the business taxes. Of course, pay your business tax that you're going to have, whether it's your estimated payment that's at the end or whatever the case might be, and then tax yourself on a $50,000 with your children. So that way, even if you do $10,000 in write-offs and you're still getting the refund back, it doesn't look so high as you trying to say 150 and then trying to get you way down to the bottom to be able to get you money back. And that's where some people don't know, and that's the difference between a CPA and a tax professional, because a tax professional would just automatically tell you, oh, do a Schedule C. Not everybody's a Schedule C.
That schedule here.
And then they want to go in and do all these thousands of dollars of write-offs and don't realize that, oh my goodness, this person made $150, but I wrote off $100,000 in write-offs because I didn't want them to owe anything. That's an improper tax return.
True. What about someone that has multiple kids?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know one time, I don't know how many years ago, I know one time it was like you could have like 2-3 kids. You might come home with like 20 bands on your tax return. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I know they kind of made a lot of revisions. So what revisions are for people who have like multiple children right now?
Okay, so with people who have multiple children, just to let you guys know, a lot of people sell their kids, and you don't need to sell your kids.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get
Okay,
to, too. That was
so
a segue.
let's talk about this. You can't claim up to 6 children on your tax return. You heard it here from me. Of course, you can call the IRS. One thing about me is everything I'm speaking is factual. You can go back and actually fact check everything that I'm speaking of. Once it shows up on your transcripts, though, it will show up like you only claim 4 because, you know, the IRS kind of geared your taxes to go around a normal family, right? So they didn't think the IRS wouldn't think that a lot of, most families wouldn't have more than 3 kids. So that's why a lot of people think, oh, you can only claim 3, you can only claim 3. No, you only get to claim 3 for child tax credit. So the 3 youngest ones will probably get the child tax credit, but you can still get the EIC credit for the rest of your children, which is the earned income credit, which we'll get down a little later down in the podcast, a little bit more breaking those down with the new limits up front. So when it comes to that, whether you're W-2 or self-employed, again, it's better for you to claim your children. Even if you're just self-employed and you just started your business and you only made, just giving you an example, $15,000 for the whole year and you still want to claim your kids, because you're still going to be able to get that threshold minimum. Okay, so you don't really need to go outside of that. I will always tell people it's best if you claim your children, so you don't have to worry about this person's mad at me this year and whatever. So just kind of get away from those.
Yeah. Moral of the story, y'all, don't sell your kids.
Right.
Just file for them properly.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And right now, after this, y'all know where to go. Right now, Tax Bree, Impress Tax Service, Tax Boss,
yes,
CPN, not tax preparer, so you don't have to worry about that smoke afterwards.
Exactly.
Okay. Cool. I got another scenario now.
Sure.
Let's say I'm a business person that has actually put myself into like a 6-figure, going to, borderline 7-figure tax bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are things that I probably should be aware of as going into the new tax year with the new revisions? Excuse me.
So for all my people who are 6-7 figures, let's talk about one thing for sure. It used to be a minimum. We're going to talk about a few things, but we're going to talk about it and kind of lead up to certain things. Okay. It used to be where it was a minimum of 20,000 threshold that you had to have going in and out as far as third party or business account in order for it to be reported to the IRS. This year coming up, the new threshold that they put on hold for last year's 22-23 taxes, they're actually making them in effect this year. So the minimum threshold is 600. So a lot of my people who are business owners, again, it does not apply to people with personal accounts, okay? Business accounts solely. If you have a Shopify, if you have Airbnb, if you have Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, PayPal, any one of those, it is going to be mandatory that you have your 1099-K that will be issued from that third partier, and they have to January 31st. So a lot of my business owners do not rush to file taxes this year, especially if you know you use those third-party apps. Again, business-wise, not personal. So if you use PayPal personal, it does not apply to you. If you use a Cash App personal, it does not apply to you. If you use it under business, you will get a 1099-K issue from that provider at the end of the year. Okay, so my people who 6-7 figures, like myself, like the person in this scenario, like many other people, and let me just explain what 6 figures is. 6 figures, anything between 100 to 999,000. Okay, so a lot of people hear 6 figures and be like, it's just 100 G's. No, you could be 6 figures at $500,000, you guys. You could be 6 figures at 700,000. Again, 6 figures starts there. 7 figures is when you hit $1 million and go up. All right, so just to kind of differentiate that, so people I got to understand. So a lot of my people who are like that, I would definitely recommend you going on estimated quarterly payments. Unless you are an excellent saver, somebody who can save money and be able to drop a lump sum at the end of the year to pay your taxes off. Facts. And if you're not that type of person who's not a saver, then I would definitely say do an estimated quarterly payment. An estimated quarterly payment is every 3 months and it's 4 quarters in a tax year. So say for instance, if you're going to make $150,000, right? All right. Divide that, right? So again, you have 12 months every 3 months, right? So divide what you will be making that, and then divide that, and then you'll get what your cost is, right? So, and exception, like say for instance, if it's 150,000 and you say, okay, every 3 months I want to put 5,000 towards my estimated quarterly. That is better So that way at the end of the year, even if you don't hit 150,000, you only hit 112, right?
Yeah.
At least you can apply that to next year's amount, or you could send that back to you to get a refund. Okay. So I would definitely say when you're started hitting a certain amount of numbers, 50,000 or up in any type of business, then you definitely want to consult with your accountant or your CPA to kind of see, or financial advisor, to kind of see exactly where you will want to be. But I would definitely recommend for my clients, business tax wise, if you're 6-7 figures, I hope you're doing estimated quarterly payments, or I hope you're being a saver and just knowing at the end of the year, if you got to come up with that 50, 60, 70,000 to hit to the IRS, you can. You don't want to get in trouble for tax evasion. You don't want to get in trouble for not reporting taxes or, cooking your books. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be a Wesley Snipes. Okay.
Fact.
Trust me.
I was about to say, boy, you're going to get sniped out here, boy.
You don't want that.
Flip the script though. Like, that's for our 6-figure people. But what about
Yes.
our people who's like, just kind of like barely making it, scratching and surviving?
Yes.
Probably establish some form of business or LLC to even attain the funding or whatever that comes with business. Like, but they're not in the 6 figures, nowhere close to it. Like they just barely getting there.
Start small. Again, if you just started a business and you're just now grossing money and your net is not nowhere near, then you should be fine. Say, for instance, you just started a business, right? And calendar year to calendar year. So say if your business started in October of this year, right? Well, you haven't even been a full calendar year to even report it on your taxes, right? Because 9 times out of 10, I don't think you have any invoices. You might not have any receipts to show. A lot of people think, we get a business bank account and that is documentation. The IRS loves receipts. The IRS loves invoices. The IRS likes those more than a bank statement, right? And if
True.
you do have one, again, make sure you have a business bank account. Very, very, very crucial. A lot of people use their personal accounts and run it like a business, and then we wonder why their accounts get shut down because you got too much money going in and out. You cannot use a personal and combine it as a business. All right, so just be mindful on that. But I don't care how small you are. Start from now. So even if you made 20,000, you may only owe 1,000, 1,100, right, in taxes. That's something to start off with. Okay, so you might not be set up for estimated quarterly payments just yet because you haven't reached there. But again, just make sure you start saving so that way at the end of the year, hey, I can apply it to this, I can apply it to that.
Okay, so y'all understand that now. Quarterly is 4 times a year. You're paying in advance with the hopes of not owing these folks
Exactly.
at the end of the year.
Because even if you do an estimated quarterly payment and you still make more than that threshold, right? At least say, for instance, you put 25,000 and you still owe 10,000 at the end of the year, you will still feel better that you put 25,000 and you only have to come up with 10.
Yeah, Uncle Sam ain't gonna let you slide.
Or say, for instance, if you owe 17 at the end of the year, but you already paid 16. Don't you feel better that knowing that you only have to pay 1,000 and you don't have to worry about if you come up with 16? Say if one of the quarters you had a slow quarter, right? Just say you have a slow quarter and you done spent more money than what you thought.
Yeah.
You don't want to catch yourself at
that's
the
that
end.
fourth quarter.
Right. So it's better to plan ahead. So when my clients, when they come to me with business, I tell them we do a financial plan. We come up with an excellent financial plan for 6 months to a year to 3 years to 5 years. And the reason why I do the 6 months to 1 year and then the 3 year and the 5 years, so that way we can get on financial track. We'll get on track with P&Ls. We'll get on track with everything you need. So again, even if you're very small and you just starting out, it's okay to reach out to a CPA and get a free consultation, or if they charge for a consultation, so you can start learning early. Don't be that person who made 200,000 and then you sit here trying to figure out what little baby said one day. He said he made it 3, 4, 5, 10 million or something like that. Yeah. He didn't realize that he had to pay taxes on it. Don't be that person when you start making too much money and not realizing financial responsibilities, because it will catch up to you.
Big fact.
Okay, and anything over 10,000, whether you buy it cash or if you go to the bank, they have to report it to the IRS. So for the people who's going to go buy cars, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 cash and don't think it's getting reported, honey, it's getting reported. That's why they ask you for a W-9. Okay?
Uncle Sam want to know everything.
They're going to know. If you're going to go drop anything hefty, they're going to know. So it's better just to go ahead and report all correct earnings, because they're going to where we're going to go virtual. Cash is going to be non-existent. Get ready for it. I have a good feeling that it's going to be. And what's going to end up happening? They're going to have to way to track you in everything you spend. So you might as well go ahead and quit talking about, oh, I paid cash for this and paid cash for that. Because it's getting ready to get to the point where that's getting ready to be dead in the next 10, 15 years. I got a really good feeling.
Damn. So you ready for that? As someone that's in finances?
I'm ready because it could be easy for my business owners.
True.
It's just going to be, for a lot of people, they're not going to be ready for that because a lot of people don't want the banks to know. Right. And you have some rich people, they don't want you to know everything they spend. Right. So now if you go and you get rid of currency, and they have to know everything you spend, it's gonna be harder for you to say that you didn't know.
True.
So that, you know, you will have to report. So say somebody made 150 through their personal account and it's really a business, but they only want to claim 20 of it. Guess what? They can, because they went through a personal account. So you can't go and tell the IRS, oh, I didn't, you know, well, this is what I want to tell them because this is what it is. But once we go that route, yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Do you do free consultations, or how much do you charge?
I do free consultations. I do offer special times where I do free consultations. If it's more of a complex situation, then I do charge $250 for a consultation. That's why sometimes I make people call me and explain what they're wanting, so that way I kind of know if it's going to take a long time for us to get through it, or is it going to be something me and you could talk about 10, 15 minutes, even on the phone, and get you a free consultation. So it just depends. If it's going to be something more complex and you call me and say, hey, you know, my issue is this, and we're going to be, you know, time consuming, then yes, I do charge $250 for a consultation.
And what does that, like, what someone receive with that? Like, what does someone receive, the benefits of working with yourself or a CPN? As
a CPA.
CPA, sorry.
Yes. He been saying CPN. I'm trying to figure out who getting CPN numbers around here.
Let's talk about that. That's a message.
Somebody get him a CPN quickly.
That's a message. Let's talk about it. You know what? I know why. I'm not even going to put it in here. But it's one of your students' fault. We had a talk last night. We was talking about your software. As a matter of fact, let's talk about that too, your software. What's that all about?
Of course. You want to go back to the question, or you want to talk about the software?
Definitely.
So repeat the first question again.
We segueing right now. We remixing.
Okay.
So the first part of the question is, what is the benefit of like dealing with CPA as Empress Tax Services?
Okay. So the benefit of dealing with a CPA to Empress Tax Service, first of all, not because we've been in open 5 years and have excellent reviews, 5-star customer service reviews on Google and Yelp. We're listed on IRS.gov. We're listed on Tax Pro Directory. Not only are you getting somebody that's replicable, but you have somebody that you can always call. I'm going to always answer your phone calls. I'm going to always message you back. If you need an extra copy of anything, I'm going to always go over and beyond to get you, you know, where you want to be and the customer service you deserve. So going to a CPA like myself at Empress Tax Service, I actually know how to deal with complex situations where, just like now, I have a client who owes over $100,000 because she went tax exempt. Right. A whole year of travel nurses made $500,000 and went tax exempt.
She Wesley Snipes did.
So guess what I have to do? I have to now go do a form for her, which is an offer and compromise, because she's not going to qualify for anything else because she still makes 6 figures.
True.
To be able to get that reduced to say, hey, that was during COVID money. Now she's not making that type of money anymore because my travel nurses was making money. So you can't get, a tax professional, like just a regular tax person, to do those type of complex things. I could go into court for her to the IRS and go to bat for her. I could go and be a power attorney for her. I could do things that that your normal tax professional cannot do. So the benefit of getting a consultation from me and actually going with my services is that you're actually covered all year around, no matter what. We're not one of those tax offices that disappear after April 15th. You can't find them no more. I can't get a copy of my tax return. We're not one of those. We're open 365 minus the holidays, minus weekends after off season. So we kind of like, after off season for us is July. We go strictly Monday through Friday. We're open 7 days a week, January through July, all hours of the night. I'm one of those business owners that you can always get in touch with. So the benefit of going with us versus your regular tax professional is the complexity of certain people's taxes we can handle with no problem.
Nice. What about this software?
Oh my goodness! So let's talk about the software.
I'm not gonna snitch on the student. The student is definitely one of my brothers, and because of him, I don't know how long I got to go back into this and see how long I've been saying CPN. So shout out to the brother, but shout out to you actually, because he got the whole motivation from you. So definitely.
Let's go. So I'm very excited about the new group of people that's coming underneath me. A good thing about them coming underneath me, they learned a lot of things that even with the two ladies who were with someone else who came underneath me was like, hey, the lady I was under, she never taught us this. She never told us this. She never, made us aware of certain things. So I have a software that my EFIN holders can purchase. Okay. It's also listed on, our website is listed on our Instagram and social media, Facebook, Twitter. And then I have a program where if you're not ready to be an EFIN holder, because maybe you're just starting to learn how to do taxes, which I wouldn't recommend anybody going straight into an EA holder without having at least a couple years of practice, because you're going to make mistakes.
True.
Okay. Even myself as being a GOAT, when I first started, I made mistakes. At perfection and speed come along with as you gradually grow. Okay. So I will always recommend my people to get a PTIN and go underneath someone under someone first. So I have a software that actually allows you to go underneath. It is actually Empress Tax Service software. So we have our own mobile app. We have our own licensing. We have everything, and it's web-based and desktop-based. So the good thing about it, we are web-based. It's kind of like a tax act. So it's amazing setup. To our clients, they have a customer portal. So even the people that's underneath me, their clients can go in, they can see when it's been accepted by the IRS. If you have a state return, yes, I know we live in Florida. If state does not applicable to Florida, I have clients everywhere in all 50 states, maybe besides South Dakota, and maybe one other state, but I done reached every other state you could think about, including Hawaii and U.S. Virgin Islands, because a lot of people don't know that U.S. Virgin
states.
Islands, yes, U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico is U.S. territory, and we can do their taxes as well.
That's
okay,
heavy.
So
shout out to you.
Thank you. So because of that, I decided to go with my own tax software. So people, when they log in, they getting, confirmation from us. They know it's from Empress Tax Service. So I pay a hefty amount of money for licensing to make sure we have our own brand material, but it works out good, because a lot of people want to start a business but not build a brand. To have a business, you got to build a brand behind that business. And who is your business, and who's better than you to represent your brand? Yourself. So after the first year, and I start going in, and I'm like, wait a minute, why don't I have my own software? Why don't I have my own license?
So you was using
brand?
other people's software?
Yes.
Like a H&R Block or something like that?
Yes, which is still underneath my credentials, but when my clients get their information, guess what it says? Empress Tax Service plus their software credentials. Dope. I don't want that. I want my clients to know when they come to Empress Tax Service, they're coming to Empress Tax Service. There's no other third party involved. Besides, if my people who cannot pay an upfront fee, yes, we do offer cash advances up to $7,000, and there's no upfront payment needed for your tax return. Okay,
man, y'all better log in, man. Empress Tax Service. She got the bag, giving the bag, getting you to the bag. 7 bags.
Up to 7,000. We start that on January 2nd.
What is the criteria for that? Is that off of your taxes? Is that off of payday? What is that?
That's off of your taxes.
Hold on, we got to slow this one down. We said 7 bands.
So
7 bands
offer,
US.
Yes,
US dollars.
US 7 bands. Okay. So we offer cash advances starting January 2nd. A lot of people cannot get that. A lot of people, you'll be surprised. They'll say, how come you can offer it, but I can't offer until the IRS opens? Guess why I get to offer pre-act? My office does numbers. If you're not doing numbers, the banking product will not be able to allow you to do cash advances before the IRS opens. So that to go to show you what type of volume we have at Empress Tax Service. So again, be mindful when you come on January 2nd. If you're a W-2, wait till you get your W-2s. If you're a self-employed or you're a 1099 holder and you have it, you can start coming on January 2nd to get the cash advance. We offer cash advances up until March.
Wow, I'm still blown away by this.
Second week of March, actually, yeah.
What's the requirements? Because I know everybody listening, they want to know.
No, literally, the requirements is only that. Just make sure you come in first. You have to actually do your tax return with us, okay? We do free estimates, okay? Check. So say, for instance, if you come in and you're not happy with the number, trust me, we will delete all your information, give you everything back, and you are more than welcome to go somewhere else. I'm about 100% sure you won't. But, those are the requirements. Really, it's just bringing your documents to us, and the bank will make the decision at the end of the day. The bank will do it as long as you do not owe So a lot of people will be like, oh, what do you mean? Okay, so if you ever did a cash advance to somebody else and never paid them back, disqualified. If you owe the IRS any money, disqualified. So if you know those two things are for sure, then you're not going to get an approval.
Some of y'all out the race.
Yeah.
M. Scott got to him first.
You're not gonna owe any money. And when I mean owe that banking product money, not Scott, not a third party.
Okay.
It's a banking software. So say for instance, even if you use a different person and they use a different bank, right? Then you never paid them back that $500 that you used for that cash advance, then yeah, that's offset by yours.
Ooh.
Okay. I can't tell you, maybe in my whole history of doing taxes, 95% of my clients return. That is a big number. Okay. The 5% is either because they decide they want to go start scamming and doing stuff with somebody else that I'm not with. You know, I got credentials at the end of the day. I have license to keep. I want to go home at night. I don't believe in going to jail or the Fed time. Okay. So
big fact.
that would be that one. But outside of that, 95% of my customers return back. So it feels good to be able to say, you know what? I am the tax boss. I'm very knowledgeable. There's nothing that you cannot ask me and I'm not aware of and I don't know. I'm not going to teach you something wrong and I'm not going to teach myself something wrong. So being the tax goat, I like it.
What should we look out for in 2024 that might be brand new, or they probably revised to an extent that, you know, the average person, whether it's personal or business taxes, may not be aware of? Like, what should we be looking out coming around the corner?
Sure. So let's talk about a couple things. If you see me pulling up some flyers, it's just because I want to go piggyback off some of the things that I have already posted about upcoming tax season. So I want to go through a few things because I think a lot of people aren't aware. I think when people hear certain things, they're not aware of where the guidelines come into. So before we talk about a few things, let's talk about the new upcoming AGI limit. Okay, this is very important.
What's that? What's the AGI limit for those who don't know?
So AGI, for people who don't know, is annual gross income. That little number on the 1040 tax return that you get, and it says at the top of the box, and it tells you either W-2s or self-employed, and it tells you gross this amount of money. Okay, your annual gross income. So whether your W-2 says $54,000, guess what you made? $54,000 a year. That is your AGI. A lot of people do not know that. Okay, so again, a lot of people think that some of these credits are applicable to you, but don't realize that if you're over a certain threshold or you're under a certain threshold is how those credits will be divided. So you're not entitled to some of these. All right. So just be mindful to that. So with this year coming up, the AGI limits and some of the household deductions that we're going to talk about has went up due to inflation. Okay, the cost of living is going up, food is going up. I remember back in the day, you got a gallon of milk for $1.15. You know, like now you go into the store, it's $5 for a gallon of milk, depending on where you go. Right, minimum $3 or $4 at least. Right. Yeah. So because they're saying because of new inflation is the reason why things are up now. So let's talk about some of this. All right. So it's a difference between single, head of household, widow, and married filing jointly and married filing separately. First of all, if you're married filing separately, it's like you're filing single. So a lot of deductions don't apply for you. So if you're married filing jointly, but you have a kid in college and you want to claim that kid, guess what? That 1098-T form doesn't apply to you, but it applies for this for the head of household and married filing jointly. Okay. Again, so it's just right. So just be mindful on that. Okay. Yeah. Be mindful of that. Head of household will always get the maximum credit, right? Because if you're head of household, you're taking care of all the bills. You're taking care of the children by yourself. So the government is going to reward you a little bit more because they're saying, right. If you're married, filing jointly, yes, you're still going to get some. Okay, you're still going to get some, but you still have a joint income, you guys. So don't get mad at the person with head of household to get a little money than the person than married filing jointly. If you got two incomes is better than one still, right? And my single people with no kids, you guys get it all the time every year. I know you guys be like, oh my goodness, I just want to add a dependent on her because I'm not getting any money. Let me tell you where a lot of people go wrong at.
Trying to bar
A lot of
kids.
people, no, they don't fill out the W-4 forms right. A lot of people, the W-4 form, that is the little form that you give when you're going in and they are giving you the onboarding at work and you got to fill out the verify. Right. So a lot of
we
people.
don't ever fill that out. Right?
Yes.
Ever.
So a lot of people, what they do,
y'all better pay attention.
a lot of people, what they do is they go in and they want to claim themselves, their children, their spouse on a W-4 form. But I blame these employers because these human resources people should know and explain to them why you should and why you shouldn't be doing it. If you have a family and you absolutely need all the money back on your paycheck, that's totally fine. Claim yourself, claim your 2 dependents, your 3 dependents, or whatever the case might be, because what you're telling the IRS is, I need more money on my paycheck. Take out less taxes. So when you go to the end of the year, you realize, damn, I took out taxes, but I still owe. Go back and look at your W-4 form, okay? Or if you get to the end of the year and you realize that somebody else got 9 bands, but you're only getting 4 bands back, and you go back and look at your W-2s.
Yeah, you
look at your
the bare
W-4.
minimum.
You're not really taking out. And my single people do this the most. My single people do this the most.
Oh, yeah, we're going to give them the bare minimum.
Yes, my single people always want to go and claim that one and then get mad when they don't get that much money back at the end of the year. Put a 0. Take the additional taxes out, you guys. Pay the taxes. For my people who are making 50, 60, 70, 80,000 a year, 90,000 a year, stop being greedy. Take the correct amount of taxes out. Put a 0. You will actually thank me later. For my people who are making 100,000 or more, go ahead and put a 0. Take out additional withholdings. Why? One of my clients listened to me. I could pull up a text message right now that will verify. She listened to me. She does not owe anymore. She actually, even on 100,000, get 2,000 back on a tax return. You can if you take the correct amount of taxes out. It depends on how you fill your W-4 form out. Sorry, I feel like I'm yelling at you guys. I'm being stern right now because a lot of people don't understand. Listen, it's how you fill out your W-4.
Tax boss making
okay?
sure you get the message.
So that makes a lot of sense, okay?
Definitely.
So we want to start with that. So this year AGI credit amounts, if you are claiming no kids, and I'm going to break this down to you, no kids, whether you're single, head of household, widow. Widow is someone whose husband or wife died in the previous tax season, meaning like how we're going up for 23rd, 24th tax season. If your husband or wife died this year, 2023, that makes you a widow. You can only claim widow for 1 year. Okay. After that, you are single. All right. Man. So just be mindful on that. All right. So just want to clear that up just in case people want to know who and what is a widow.
True.
Okay. You got your married filing jointly and your married filing single. For anyone who's claiming no dependents, if you make more than $17,640 on single, head of household, married filing separately, or a widow, you are no longer considered low income. So remember that EIC credit we're talking about, and we're going to get into that. You're not going to get the maximum amount because a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm supposed to get the maximum amount for that, right? So if you're 0, right, and you don't have any kids to claim, guess what? That $600 credit, that full $600 credit for EIC that you could claim, you may only qualify and get $200-$300. You may get half. You may not get none. It just depends on the threshold. Okay, remind you. So if you made $17,640 or less, you are guaranteed that $600 in EIC credit. Okay, because guess what? You're considered low income. If you're married filing jointly with 0 dependents and you have $24,210 and you make more than that, guess what? That $600 EIC credit, you might not get the max.
Facts.
Okay? If you get less than $24,000, then you will get the max. That's how it works. A lot of people don't understand these things. So when they come to you and say, oh, well, this person got $2,000, which is the child tax credit per child, okay? $2,000 per child under 17, okay? Again, depending on how much money you made, people, okay? And doesn't mean you're going to get the full $2,000. So my people who claim one child, right? $46,560 is the new threshold amount. So if you made $46,000 or less, if you're single, head of household, widow, or married filing separately, guess what? Then 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the full $2,000 in the child tax credit. If you made more than $46,560, guess what's going to happen? You may be only entitled to $1,000, $1,200, $800, $500. Don't sit here and say, oh, my friend. And this is where people get taxes wrong. They want to compare what their friend and their family get and this person and that person. Well, that person may not be in the same tax bracket as you.
Facts.
So we have to be mindful. Quit comparing taxes to your friends, your family, your baby mama, your baby daddy, your neighbor, because everybody's situations is different.
Big fact.
If you're claiming 2 kids, $52,918. If you made less than that, guess what? You qualify for the full EIC amount and the full child tax credit amount. If you made more than that, again, you may be only qualified for a partial or little to none. All right. So these are just examples of how AGI works and how the IRS, put you in their filing chart. And a lot of people don't know that. So they get upset and they want to go and say, oh, I didn't get the maximum refund. Okay. Well, you made $60,000, 2 kids. That's above the threshold. This person is not you. So don't compare the two. Okay. Just be mindful, okay? So if that's the maximum earned income credit that you could get for, people with no children is $600. For 1 child is $3,995. For 2 children is up to $6,604. For 3+ kids up to $7,430. This is why I tell everybody, claim your own kids. Because even if you get the child tax credit for the first 3 and you're low income above that, lower than, say, for 3, is $56,838. And this, again, for single head of household or widow. For married filing jointly, it's $63,000. So if you made less than that, you're going to get the full EIC. You're going to get the full child tax credit. Again, it depends on what you made. And a lot of people don't understand this, and I can't stress this enough. Depending on what you guys made.
Yeah, they pocket watching.
They pocket watching.
You gotta stop
so
pocket watching.
You gotta stop, sitting here saying that, oh, well, that person, no, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, you don't know what they did
just
or what
like,
they didn't
right,
do.
just like household deductions this year because of the inflation.
Yeah, I can understand
Single
that.
filers, $13,850. Married couples filing jointly, $27,700. Household deductions. That's the max you can claim on household deductions, you guys. So if you have a good CPA or a good tax professional and you get upset with them because they're giving you everything that's possible and you can still only walk away. Say you put in your W-2 and it said $4,000, but they give you all these deductions, all these little things, and you walk away with $9,000, be happy. You got to remember, we only have a maximum we can get to people. A lot of people don't understand that.
Real quick.
Sure.
I know this is a debate.
I love it. I'm ready.
When is tax season?
Tax season generally starts like the end of January. This year, it opened up on January 23rd. So remind you, if you ever come to us, even if you come to us on January 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 3rd, whenever, your tax return will be completed, but it will not be submitted for submission until the IRS opens the e-file at midnight. This year, they have not announced it. Normally, they will announce it by the end of December. So you'll start seeing flyers going up on Empress Tax Service, along with everybody who's a part of Empress, Team Empress, big up yourself on the live. You will start seeing flyers of the official IRS open date. Okay? You can't come to us starting January 2nd. But your actual return will not be submitted until the e-file system opens, which is beyond our control. Another thing, once we submit the IRS, a lot of people feel like we have full control. Once we submit it, it's up to the IRS to release the tax return, you guys. We can only submit it. So don't get mad at your CPA, your accountant, your EA, your tax pro. They did their job. As long as they gave you a copy of your tax return, which is actually surprising that I have a lot of clients come to me and say they never ever got a copy from their professional, which, you could say as being my client, you get a copy. I don't play with that, like you get a copy. So, you'll have your copy, but
you done changed my mind on tax preparer. Just being honest, I ain't hating on nobody. I ain't knocking nobody, but I don't know. Tax preparer, boy, I don't know if I'm prepared for what you gonna get me into. I'm gonna just rock with the CPA.
So, just little things that people need to remind, fully reminder of. But yes, those are some of the things that people got to remember. Also, when you're filing your taxes and you're claiming dependents, since we're getting you guys ready, it has been a law in effect since Obama been in office, called the PATH Act. The PATH Act law, again, fact check me. You can Google, you can go to irs.gov. One thing about me, I speak straight facts. If you're claiming kids, okay, even if your tax return is submitted on the 23rd, the 24th, the 21st, the 15th, whenever the IRS decides to open up, you still have to wait till after February 15th, according to the PATH Act law. And the reason why they want you to wait is they want to make sure that you are actually eligible for those credits that you are receiving. Even for my single filers, and you are eligible for earned income, that $600 that we were talking about, you're going to be on hold too, due to the PATH Act law. Again, once we submit it, they will release it. Don't worry about it. You're going to get some crazy messages on irs.gov saying, oh, your tax return is being processed. We don't have a date. There's nothing. Don't get nervous. This has been something they've been doing for a few years now. Okay, so this is why you need to come to somebody who knows what's going on, so that way when your date finally pops up and you say, oh, she was right. Yes, once it's submitted, the IRS will not give you a date for my EIC and my child-dependent people who are claiming a child tax credit, to after the 15th of February.
Tax boss said so. You know what I'm saying? Impress Tax Service, y'all. You know what I'm saying? What else we got for the people right now for the 2024 season?
Yes.
Because I know it's some things Uncle Sam got up his sleeve because, you know what I'm saying? We went from getting money to inflation to no money to we about to have no money in cryptocurrency. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, I know Uncle Sam got something playing right now.
Yes.
So what we got to look out for?
So a couple more things update-wise. If you guys owe student loans, you guys are aware that Biden program did not go through.
Oh.
Some people are seeing that it's been forgiven. Some people will go and they'll go on their thing and they say, mine was at 90,000, now it's at 60,000. Some are being forgiven. Not all have been forgiven. October 1st this year, student loans have went back into payments.
Oh.
Okay, so for the people who are claiming taxes, please go visit studentaid.org. Get on an IDR plan. Get on a payment plan. The IDR is an income-driven repayment plan that pulls your taxes and make up a payment plan based off of your AGI and your taxes. Okay? Get on that payment plan because they will start taking taxes again for student loans. I had a client who called the other day and they said, oh, we're not taking taxes. That's for last year. This year coming up, 23-24. So please go visit your studentaid.org. Or if you're not through Student Aid, figure out exactly who you have your loans through, so that way you can get on the payment plan so your taxes will not be at risk. We do have a hotline that we call as tax preparers. We can see if your tax return is going to be offset by child support. We can be able to see if it's going to be offset by student loans. We're going to be able to see if you owe anything county. We're going to know. Federal-wise, if you guys owe federal, it's always good to have an account. I recommend all my clients to go on irs.gov, create a portal. You can get your IP PIN, your identity protection PIN online. You'll be able to see if you owe. You'll be able to see your transcripts. You'll be able to get a lot of great little things. So I recommend a lot of people go ahead and do the ID me and get an irs.gov. That way, if you know you owe federal, you'll be able to see it. Most people know, but those are little couple things that I can definitely want to go ahead and drop gems on. Dependent care, the maximum is up to $1,050 per child under the age of 13. Okay, be mindful on that as well, you guys. So when you're claiming the form 2441, make sure you have all of the information ready. Okay, make sure you have your provider's name, the EIN number to the provider. If it's an adult that watches, maybe it's your mom, your dad, your uncle,
like
your grandpa, no problem. Make sure you have their name, their address, their phone number, their social. If it's a daycare provider, make sure you have their EIN. Their EIN. They should be able to give you at the end of the year a little daycare statement to show exactly what you'll claim, so that way you'll be able to get those credits. Okay, again, with this, it's only going to be for the first 3 children. I will always say for the youngest 3. So if you're for this particular part, for dependent care expenses, even if you're claiming 6 kids and all 6 kids are in dependent care or some type of after school, you're only going to get for 3 kids. Okay, that part would definitely be for 3 kids.
You say the youngest because you probably get the longest time filing on them.
Yep.
Realistically, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. I just
Yep.
had to figure that out. Really.
Exactly. So those are a couple things that I wanted to bring to people's attention for upcoming tax year, because a lot of people are not aware of these new deductions, the AGI, the new limits, different things of that nature. So those are good tax talk to have.
Definitely. What else can we look forward to from Impress Tax Service?
Oh my goodness. Look forward to seeing us in other states. I'm actually ready to grow and franchise. I'm not going to talk too much because I don't want too much bad blood or too much bad names. You know, people don't want to see you get to another level. So,
Fact.
but just know, be prepared to start seeing us in other cities. I'm ready to take this out of South Florida. I'm ready to take this brand to a national level. I'm ready to go and tour and, go teach classes in other major cities and, offer my software to other people. So I'm excited about where we're going to grow.
So how would like new or even up and coming students, how would they figure out like your software, or if it's for them, like how would they get into the Impress Tax Service?
Oh my goodness. So I offer classes during non-tax season. So non-tax season, we offer classes July up until November. Okay. We don't do a class in December just because of the simple fact a lot of people are getting ready for holidays and Christmas and travel. So I normally don't do a December class. So from July to November, we do classes. I charge $350. $100 deposit is needed. We'll talk about all those little good details. We will also do a consultation. So say, for instance, if you reach out to me, you want to go ahead and sign up for the program, but you want a quick tutorial, and you're out of state, because we could do out of state people, I hop on a Zoom with you. I will share my demo. I will show you how it works, give you an idea, so that way you know exactly what you're getting to before you actually pay. So those are things that we do here, and I'm excited. So even if no matter where you at, we can train you.
So how can everyone follow you, tap in, become a part of the movement?
Of course. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Impress Tax Service, and that's IMPRESS Tax Service 19. You can also follow us on Twitter at Impress Tax. If you guys want to get directly to me, go ahead and pull up our website, www.impresstaxservices.com. It's with the S. That way you can see all the services that we actually have to offer, our contact, our address, everything that you need from us is all listed on our social media. If you guys want to get directly to me, my business number is also there, and my business cell phone number is also there as well.
Bria Harris, y'all. Tax boss.
Tax boss.
Tax goat.
Do we have any questions from the live audience?
Impress Tax Services. No, they did, but I can't scroll right now. They're going to have to come back for episode 2.
Yeah, we'll have to come back for episode 2. So for anybody who had any questions, I'm definitely going to make an arrangements with Music Media Lounge. He is amazing. Make sure you guys are my podcast people. Anybody who, want to come and shoot a podcast, do music, anything, he is to go. He is amazing.
Appreciate you.
Of course.
Blessings.
Bang.
Damn near hour.
That is it.
That is it.
We did good. We did